Hi, Grandma Abuela here. Have my baby with me. I want to talk a little bit about nurturing babies. It's really, really important to nurture children. Um, there was, I don't think it was a study, I'm not sure what it was, but these were babies in an orphanage, and they were dying at a higher rate than they should have. They were receiving everything they needed. I mean, their diapers were staying changed, they were being fed, and yet there was a high mortality rate in this particular orphanage. And what they discovered is that the babies weren't getting the cuddling that they need. So we're wired actually to have human connection. And so it's important that babies get enough of that connection, enough loving, enough touch. So I want to talk a little bit about loving babies. And see, now I have my dog, Indiana. Come here, Indiana Jones. He wants some love, and in the background there, you can see little Zodi. She wants love too. Um, when I had my babies, there were a lot of little things that I used to do. I'd hold them and I'd rock them and I'd spank them, and I'd love to sing little songs to them. Sometimes I change the words. Now let's take the song Rock My Baby. Let's pretend that this baby's name is Katie, because that's one of my favorite girls' names. And I never got to have a little girl named Katie, so in a lot of the books I write, I have a character named Katie. So let's pretend her name's Katie. And I'll sing, Rock-a-bye baby in the treetops, when the bough, let's see, oh, when the wind blows, the cradle will rock, when the bough breaks, the cradle will fall, and down will come baby, cradle and all. First time I sang that to one of my kids, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a horrible song. I don't want to sing a song about a cradle falling and the baby falling down. That's horrible. So I started changing the words, and I'm notorious for changing the words. So I'll sing something like, Rock-a-bye baby in the treetops, when the wind blows, the cradle will rock. When my little baby's laying there, Katie will hear me sing to her hair. I made that up as I went along. That's why it sounded so weird. It doesn't matter. Just make up the words. Little sweet Katie, I love you, I do. I think you're cute. You're sweet as a stew. Little sweet Katie, yes, I love you. I wish that you had a brand new shoe. See, it's nonsense. It doesn't matter. The baby likes to hear me sing. Maybe the baby doesn't like my voice. Maybe they stop crying so that inside they're laughing and they're thinking, oh my gosh, my abuela is so crazy. Or when it was my kids, they're like, oh my goodness, mama is crazy and this is what we're going to be raised with. I don't know. I don't know. But I think my kids actually liked hearing me sing, and I've noticed now that my older girls, they sing to their children some of the same little songs that I sang to them. And I sing real songs too. I mean, I'd sing Row, Row, Row Your Boat and Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star and the alphabet song and um, Hush, Little Baby. I sang lots of the little nursery songs, and sometimes I'd make up the songs, fill in the words if I didn't know. The point was I was singing the songs. Something else that I like to do is I like to just like rub them and play with their little feet and rub their little legs and their little arms. And I noticed myself when I was making one of these videos and I was holding the baby and I reached over and I took her hand and I was going like that because that's something that I would do is I take their little hand and I do this. Um, Fun, cute story about babies. Babies are born with a grasping reflex. So when their fingers are open, if you put your finger in the hand, they automatically close on your finger. You can go like this and just automatically get them to close. It's kind of fun to do that. You put your hand there and they just automatically close. It's a grasping reflex that they're born with. Um, so um, when my brother and his wife brought home my first niece and I got to hold her and I was just young, I was probably only about 8 or so, and I took her arm and I put my finger in her hand and her fingers closed around her little hand closed around my finger. And my mom was there and my mom was just so amazing. And one of the wisest people I ever know, but my mom said, oh, look, the baby likes you. And I said, really? And she said, yeah, when the baby holds your finger, that means that she loves you. And so, see, the baby's holding your finger, so she must love you. And I totally 100% believed that. It wasn't until I think I was in high school or college probably college when I was taking my psychology classes, that I found out that that's a normal reflex that babies are born with. I didn't know that. So all these years I thought, oh, when the baby's holding my finger, it means she loves me. Oh my goodness, my nephew loves me. He's holding my finger. But it's so sweet. And so when I started having my own babies, I would always tell the older siblings, oh, look, the baby loves you. He's holding your finger. Oh, look, the baby loves you. She's holding your finger. And then just a fun little thing with my kids as they got older. Sometimes we would be sitting together, maybe in church or something, where we had to be quiet. And I wanted to tell my kid that I loved them. And so I would hold my finger out, and they would take my finger like this. And then they'd hold their finger out, and I'd take their finger like this. And that meant I love you. And that was just a fun way that we had in our family with the kids of saying, I love you. And I'll have to confess this, and I hope my kids aren't mad at me for telling this, but this was something that we did clear up into their teenage years. With my youngest son, he would still sit by me and hold a finger out, and I'd take it, even after he graduated from high school. That's just something that we do. And I've told my kids, when I'm old, if I, end up with dementia or Alzheimer's or something and I can't communicate, at least take my finger so that I know you love me. And so just something fun. Just remember, babies need to be loved, they need to be held, they need to be talked to, sung to. Don't worry about it if you don't have a good voice. I think my kids all turned out okay, even though I sang to them. They seem to be doing all right, so I don't think I traumatized them too much with my horrible voice. The point is they just need to have that connection. They need to have that communication. And one more quick thing before I stop. Um, my mom said she didn't think that you could spoil a baby, that she didn't think that you could hold a baby too much. And I tend to agree with that. I think if you want to hold your baby, go ahead and hold that baby. They are only this size once, and they get bigger and bigger and bigger. And the time will come when you can't hold your baby in your arms. You can't hold your baby on your lap. I shouldn't say that. I said that once, and then my 17-year-old daughter came in and sat on my lap, and I'm like, okay, you're a little big for this. But really, they are this stage only once. So enjoy it. Hold them. Enjoy holding them and loving them, because I really don't think you can spoil a baby by holding them too much. So, yeah, love them, sing to them. And remember, if they take your finger, it's because they love you. Bye.